Hello everyone, meet Phil. Phil is historically haunted, pathogen petrified, and clinically curious. But Phil has a problem. He thinks the Black Death was the only world-ending event in history, but he just opened a dusty crate of forgotten medical records that suggest humanity has survived much weirder, faster, and more ruthless killers. Today, we're going to show Phil history's hidden horrors by revealing every forgotten pandemic's more terrifying than the Black Death. Let's bolt! The Plague of Justinian, 541 AD. This wasn't just a local outbreak, it was the first recorded appearance of the bubonic plague. It arrived in Constantinople via grain ships from Egypt, hitching a ride on fleas residing on black rats. At its peak, the city was losing 5,000 to 10,000 people every single day, leaving no one left to bury the dead. Emperor Justinian himself contracted the disease but survived, though his empire did not fare as well. The massive loss of taxpayers and soldiers crippled the Byzantine military, ending any hope of reuniting the Roman Empire and effectively shifting the course of Western civilization forever. The Cocoliztli epidemic, 1545. In the highlands of 16th century Mexico, a mysterious illness emerged that the indigenous Nahua people called Cocoliztli, or the Great Pestilence. Unlike the smallpox that preceded it, this was a hemorrhagic fever that caused high fevers, tongue blackening, and heavy bleeding from the nose and eyes. Modern DNA analysis of skeletal remains suggests the culprit was a deadly strain of Salmonella enterica. Over just 5 years, it is estimated to have killed up to 15 million people, nearly 80% of the population, leaving entire cities abandoned and the Aztec social structure in total ruin. The Sweating Sickness, 1485 to 1551. Tudor England was terrorized by a sudden sharp death known as the English Sweat. It struck with terrifying speed. A man could be healthy at breakfast and dead by dinner. Symptoms began with a sense of impending doom, followed by violent shivers and a profuse foul-smelling sweat that soaked through bedding. It was unique because it seemingly targeted the wealthy and robust rather than the poor. Despite 5 major outbreaks over 66 years, the disease vanished as mysteriously as it arrived. To this day, scientists are unsure if it was a hantavirus or an extinct form of influenza. The Antonine Plague, 165 AD. When Roman soldiers returned from campaigns in the Near East, they brought back more than just spoils of war. They brought a pathogen that likely was the first major appearance of smallpox. The disease tore through the empire for 15 years, claiming the lives of up to 2,000 people a day in Rome alone. It was so devastating that it claimed the life of Emperor Lucius Verus and possibly his co-emperor Marcus Aurelius. With nearly a quarter of the Roman army decimated, the empire's borders became porous, and the once unstoppable Roman economy entered a tailspin from which it never fully recovered. The Third Pandemic, 1855. While people associate the bubonic plague with the Middle Ages, its deadliest iteration began in the 19th century in Yunnan, China. This third pandemic spread globally via steamships, reaching every inhabited continent and killing over 12 million people in India and China alone. It was during this specific outbreak that scientists finally identified the bacterium Yersinia pestis and the role of rat fleas. Though we have antibiotics now, this pandemic technically stayed active according to the WHO until 1960, and it is the reason the plague still exists in wild rodent populations in the American West today. The Dancing Plague, 1518. In the summer of 1518, a woman named Frau Trophaea stepped into a street in Strasbourg and began to dance fervently for 6 days straight. Within a month, 400 others joined her in a frantic, involuntary marathon. Local physicians, baffled by the hot blood of the dancers, actually encouraged the movement by building a wooden stage and hiring musicians. This proved fatal. Many dancers collapsed and died from strokes, heart attacks, or pure exhaustion. Whether it was caused by ergot fungus in the bread supply or a massive bout of stress-induced mass hysteria, it remains the most bizarre lethal contagion in human history. Alright, let's recap everything we've learned. Justinian, Byzantine Empire collapsed economically. Cocoliztli, 80% population loss in Mexico. The sweat, fatal within 24 hours. Antonine decimated the Roman army's power. The third pandemic killed 12 million modern victims. Dancing plague, fatal mass psychological hysteria. Now we want to know about you. Which of these forgotten terrors do you think was the most devastating? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, stay curious, stay clean, it keeps you alive. See you in the next bolt.